lots of communications with the Iranians we do now. But to sit down across the table without preconditions with Ahmadinejad, as Senator Obama wants to do, I think would be a mistake of enormous proportions.
And as we see soaring prices here on oil, we're also facing inflation on a lot of other areas, food, other commodities, in addition to this economic slowdown. What's a bigger risk to the American people today, the slowdown or inflation?
I think they're both inextricable. I think when you slow down, when the economy slows down and the world price of oil goes up and the dollar weakens and we continue to spend American taxpayers' dollars in the most irresponsible and outrageous fashion, then you're going to have this incredible cycle. I'm very worried about the strength of the dollar. We all know when the dollar weakens, the price of oil goes up. And by the way, could I mention one other thing? The gas tax holiday that I proposed, and everybody said, wow, it's the end of Western civilization as we know it.
No, Barack Obama said it's not a good idea.
Well, look, I've run into people not that long ago that own trucks. Individual that owns 2 or 3 trucks. He says, I'd love to have a break. I'd love to have a break from this 24.5-cent tax I pay for every gallon of diesel. I'm about to go out of business. Why not help the lowest income Americans who drive the furthest to work and also drive the largest gas consumption automobiles because the older automobiles? I think you're out of touch with America. I think when you don't support such a thing. And it was just a break. It was just a break. They need it right now.
You mentioned trade deals. Obviously, Senator Obama wants to redo NAFTA, as you said it, and look at other trade deals. What do you tell people who feel displaced by what's been going on with the rest of the world? They've lost their job to India, to China, to other places around the world.
First of all, I tell them that unilaterally renegotiating any agreement with another sovereign nation is a serious threat to the entire fabric of international relations, particularly with China. 33% of our exports, as I understand, or certainly of our foreign trade. Our foreign trade, I think a huge amount is obviously Canada and Mexico. I tell them that I believe that it's good for America, and I believe American workers are the most productive. But I also tell them that I'm going to have a program for education and retraining of workers that works. Right now, our unemployment insurance and our displaced worker programs were designed for the 50s. They're absolute failures. We've got to go to the community colleges, have them design and implement education and training programs that give these workers a second chance. And there are new technologies out there. There are green technologies. I believe in the fundamental strength of our economy, but I also know full well how tough these times are. I hear from these Americans every day that are hurting.
Senator Obama has clearly triggered a movement with young people. How are you going to get young people to vote for you?
Well, we're doing pretty well. We got to do a lot more appearances on Saturday Night Live and Jon Stewart and MTV and all of those venues that a lot of young Americans don't get up and watch the Sunday morning talk shows. But most importantly, I've got to give them a vision for the future of a reform, of prosperity, and peace. They're the ones that are going to be in harm's way if we mishandle the situation in the Middle East. They're the ones that have to have an education that is both affordable and high quality. I've got to convince them, and I've got a lot of work to do. Don't get me wrong. We've got a lot of work to do. That I will hand to them a generation, to this next generation, a world that is safer and more prosperous, something we've done for every generation throughout our history.
We have a lot of work to do around the world as well, getting diplomacy back on track and confidence back in the United States. How do you do that? Tell me how you increase confidence in the U.S. and create friendships that were lost over the last few years.
Well, one of the first things that I would do is declare that the United States of America will never torture another person who is in the custody of the United States of America. That has hurt our image enormously. I would also say that I'm going to close Guantanamo Bay. I would also say that I will work together with our allies, our traditional allies, and we will come up with hemispheric trade agreements. I'd love to see a U.S.-EU free trade agreement, that we will, sharing common values, common principles, we will work together as a community of nations, and we have to do it given the threats that we face. I have personal relationships with these leaders all around the world. I know them. I've been involved in these issues for a long, long time.
Senator McCain, nice to have you on the program.
Thank you, Maria.
We're going to continue our discussion here, Aaron, and I'm going to talk to McCain right now about what he's looking for in a running mate. That will be on the closing bell in the next hour. I'll send it back to you for now. Senator, at the risk of asking you who exactly you have in your head as far as who might be your running mate, what characteristics are you looking for? Are you looking for someone who can revitalize the youth movement? Are you looking for someone who's strong in economics? What are the characteristics you're looking for in a running mate?
The most important characteristic is someone who shares my values, my principles, and my priorities. One of the toughest things a President of the United States has to do, particularly after an election, is set priorities and which are the issues that need to be addressed first. But we are blessed with a number of highly qualified people, and we're very early in the process.
Do you have any ideas yet?
Not really.
What about Senator Clinton's supporters? How are you going to get women to vote for you?
Well, we welcome them. I think that Senator Clinton did a great job. I'm proud of her, and she motivated millions and millions of women and others all around the world. So I respect her campaign. Obviously, I would like to have her supporters examine our campaign. I'll give them the kind of government that they can be proud of and a safe and prosperous future. And I have the experience and the knowledge and the judgment to do that.
Senator, would you like to add anything else?
No, this is only one thing I'd like to add, and that is that I have asked Senator Obama to engage in town hall meetings. That's the essence of democracy in my view, where we would go, the two of us, we'd go on the same airplane if he'd like, and have 300-400 unaffiliated voters. Let them ask the questions of us and let us respond. Rather than the spin and the gotchas and all those kinds of things, let's just talk directly through the American people through one of the most effective and oldest form of the democratic process. Let's have the town hall meetings. I look forward to them.
And I know that if you would agree to it and he would agree to it, we would love to have a debate. I would love to host that debate for you on CNBC.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Senator.